Welcome back. When a user requests a page for your site, the page HTML starts streaming to the browser. As soon as a browser encounters a tag for an external image, a script, a CSS file, it will start downloading that file simultaneously. When the browser receives our HTML, it does something called parsing it. It's breaking it down into a vocabulary it understands. After understanding the document, this is what it does. It starts creating the DOM, as we've mentioned, the document object model. And again, as it's building that, as soon as it sees an external resource, it goes ahead and starts downloading all of those. And usually the CSS and JavaScript files take high priority, and other files, like images, take lower priority. So how do we optimize this process? How do we optimize the HTML file, which is step one? Well, the first thing you want to do is to load styles, that is CSS files, as soon as possible, and scripts, that is JavaScript files, as late as possible, with a few exceptions here and there. Why? Well, one of the main principles of CSS performance is to get the CSS to the browser as soon as possible. JavaScript requires the HTML and CSS parsing to finish before it can be run. That's step 4 over here. This way, we give styles ample time to create the CSS object model. So if you put JavaScript in the head tag in HTML, the problem with that positioning, if it's up at the top, is that it blocks page rendering. Scripts historically blocked additional resources from being downloaded more quickly. By replacing them at the bottom, or by placing them at the bottom, your style, content, and media could start downloading more quickly, giving the perception of improved performance. The best way to demonstrate this is through an example. I have over here a very, very simple index.html file. It has a simple h1 tag, a button that does absolutely nothing, and we have a link tag with an external style sheet here, and a script tag at the bottom, as I mentioned, which simply just does an alert saying check. So if we go to our browser, we have our website here, very pretty. Our network tab is open. And if I click refresh here, I see that my index file and style.css file is, well, it looks like it's loaded. And because we have an alert here, it's blocking the rendering of the page because the JavaScript is running right now. And we'll get to why that is in the later videos. But for now, I want you to see that the index and style file were both downloaded. Now let's try something else. If I move this script tag up above the style sheet, I save. And now I refresh my page. We see that the style sheet is now pending. If I click OK, it then starts downloading it. And we see over here that the style sheet stalled for 14 seconds because we didn't let it download, mainly because our JavaScript was running. And then finally loaded and downloaded after JavaScript. So you see here how we blocked other things from happening just by having script tags up in the head tag. So again, we want to make sure that JavaScript files tend to be at the bottom. And now there is some exceptions. Let's say, for example, you have Google Analytics, which is a script tag, and you want that to be executed right away. Maybe you want to know what the user does the very first second on the website. In that case, you might want to put a script tag at the top. but keep in mind that that may slow your website. And we also want to make sure that the styles are being downloaded as soon as possible. So that's why we put them in the head. So let's review. If you put your scripts or the script tags at the bottom of the page, they'll be loaded last. In other words, something can show up on the browser faster. Your users don't have to wait for a script to finish downloading before they see something in your application. And you also want to load your style tags as soon as possible so that that CSS document object can be created as soon as possible. And remember, in order for us to create the render tree. All right, so that's the first part. Let's look at step 2 and then all the other rest of the steps in the next videos. See you then. Bye-bye.